So, if you're thinking about moving to Portugal, here's what we've learned over the past 6 months and whether or not we'll do it again. So, Marcus,
Yeah,
we finally did it. We moved here September 1st,
yeah,
and it's been 6 months. 6 months, March 1st.
yeah.
And yeah, so here are some, questions that a lot of people ask about moving to Portugal. One of them is the cost of living.
Yeah.
Now, on all of the YouTubies and things that we've researched or I've researched, it's this like pie in the sky, like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Like, you're going to be living like a king. What would you say to that?
I would say certainly most things are cheaper. Where we are is very close to the ocean, so you can't really compare housing costs from living close to the ocean versus living in a neighborhood 200 miles away from the ocean.
Yeah, because like where we lived in Pennsylvania, it would take us 2.5 hours to get to the ocean. But if you were to live in Jersey Shore, you couldn't afford to live there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
living here in Tavira, we're like 10 minutes from the ocean.
Yeah.
So we pay more for our apartment than we would the mortgage in our house, but we're getting the quality of life that we couldn't have gotten there.
Yeah. But we would have, if we were to rent a place where we used to live, it would have been very comparable to.
True, very
Well,
true.
so after that, the cars are cheaper. Gas is not cheaper. Most groceries are a decent bit cheaper. You have your few items that are not,
I also
but
think it depends on like if you embrace like the Portuguese food and like don't try to replicate what you ate at home because
yeah,
it's like if you're gonna go and get like the snacks that I would eat at home, like the Reese's peanut butter cups and like the cereals that are typically in the US, you're gonna pay way more money than you would pay at home because they're being imported and it's stuff that an everyday Portuguese family would eat. So
yeah,
you're gonna pay for that convenience.
yeah.
And what do you think about like utilities?
Utilities are definitely cheaper, substantially cheaper in my opinion. Like a or cell phone bill,
So
we
much
were
cheaper.
paying like
400.
300 US dollars, maybe even 330, something like that. Now that didn't, that was like 4 or 5 phones, I forget. Probably
Yeah.
5 phones. And it also had
Internet.
internet. But ours for everything is 100, like $100. So it's substantially cheaper. Electric's cheaper, water's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, we were paying like $500-600 a month for heat in the winter
Yeah.
because we had an older home, so it wasn't energy efficient. So I think also coming from an older home to Portugal, like we didn't have the luxury of having like an insulated house because our house was built in 1900 and had like straw for its interior like insulation.
Yeah.
So we have a really great apartment here and it's pretty warm, I would say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot of
And
people complain about that though, that the damp and the cold because some homes
they
don't
don't have,
really have great heating systems.
and
Um,
that was something that I realized when we came here with the kids, that first apartment house or whatever.
yeah.
It was so cold. It was warmer outside than it was in the house. It was freezing.
But it's all relative. We don't get like 10-degree temperatures. Our coldest temperature might be like 38 degrees, and that's a very cold day, and that's once every 3 weeks in the winter or something like that. Whereas most other times it's 55 degrees with a low of maybe 45 or something like that in the winter. So yeah, but getting back to the cost of living, it's definitely cheaper. Yeah, there are some items that are more expensive, but on the whole, it's healthcare is cheaper. It's everything is not everything, but most things
A
are
lot of
cheaper.
things. Even eating out, like if you go to we have this cafe that Mark likes to go to across the street, which is like a traditional Portuguese cafe. You're gonna have a a good deal.
Yeah.
But if you were to go downtown by the river, where it's like for tourists, you're gonna spend way more. Like what, Mark? Like if you went to across the street and got wine as opposed to going downtown.
Yeah, it would be like a dollar, well,
A euro
160 euro, which probably be like closer to $2 US dollar.
for a glass.
Yeah, downtown it'll be more like maybe like €4, which would be like close to $4.75 or something like that for a glass of wine. Still, you're not going to get that in the United States. You're not going to get a glass of wine for that. At least my experience.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a glass of wine for two US dollars. This is not going to happen. You can get a bottle of wine here for
Three.
€3 easily, and many varieties, and every variety that I've tried is
Very good.
good. So, yeah.
Another thing that something to talk about is the culture and the daily life. So, like, one of the reasons why you came here is because you wanted that slower pace of life. And I definitely feel like that is true. And especially living in the South. I know, I guess in Europe, a lot of the southern parts of a country, it has like a slower pace of life as opposed to like the city, like the capitals and stuff like that, the northern cities. So that was another reason why we picked the South, is because we not only wanted to move abroad, but we wanted to have that slower quality of life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people find the Algarve to be boring, and that there's that big rush of tourism between like July and August, and then everything kind of becomes sleepy. I honestly don't find Tavira to be sleepy at all.
Yeah, there's always something going on. They always have some festival or party or concert or something. Just touching on a little bit more about what you were saying about the slower lifestyle. Even in the cities, like Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, obviously, there's traffic and congestion, but it's just not the same.
Normal.
It's just not. It's way more chill lifestyle. And like Nikki was saying, you compare where we live in the Algarve in the southern parts, that's even substantially more chill.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you walk everywhere. You walk to the grocery store. You walk 20 minutes to restaurants, and
Kids walk to school.
yeah, they walk 20 minutes to school. We don't even have a car yet. Yeah, it's just generally I walk every day with our dog, and you get to know everybody around. You get the locals see you walking with your dog at the same time every day. They start to interact with the locals, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I would definitely say that a lot of people talk about the bureaucracy about like getting your visa and your IMO appointments and all those things, and we haven't really gotten to the point of needing to transfer our car, driver's license, and stuff yet. But I feel like the visa process.
Excuse me.
Bless you. And Mark just had his IMO appointment a couple of weeks ago, and that they both were very smooth processes, I'd
Yeah.
say. I don't know if we just kind of lucked out in the timing of when things were happening, but like I feel like I had more of an issue getting our kids' passports, which took like a year and a half,
Yeah.
than going through
that was
the visa process here. Every experience that we've had with like the visa appointment in Newark and the IMO appointment in Fundao have just been very great. And people have been super kind.
Oh yeah, they're not like typical or stereotypical. I know that this isn't the case for all U.S. government officials, but
yeah.
the people were just super friendly, super willing to help. They understand the language barrier. A lot of people speak English very fluently, although they'll tell you that when you ask them, they'll just say "poco," just a little bit of English,
and then they
that's not
speak
true.
very well.
They know it very well.
But yeah, there have been, especially for me, I would say more instances of noticing some like microaggressions being a Black American in Portugal, getting some stares, and just know that as a Black person, you're going to experience stupid people everywhere. So it's not like you're going to go to Portugal and all of a sudden everything's going to be rosy and you're not going to encounter any issues and everyone's just going to be amazing and happy and like drinking the Kool-Aid or something like that's just not reality. So as long as you understand
Yeah.
that you're leaving the US, you want to go somewhere that you feel is more open, you may still encounter some issues because there's a long-standing issue with Portugal being a colonizing country with the countries that they colonized. So there's that also.
Yeah, I guess my comment to that is, and obviously it's way more personal for you, although it's very personal for me now too.
Yeah.
But from talking to other people and locals and things like that, it's not, the racism is there certainly at times, but it's not that same hatred you encounter in the United States.
I think it's just a different type of
Yeah.
it's like they have their own history with like the Brazilians and the Somalians and the people from Pakistan and they're racist against those people and the gypsies and stuff like that. So do they go around tar and feathering people? As I'm trying to say it in a very PC, nice way. No. But will they make it very uncomfortable for those people? The ones that are racist, yes.
Yeah, I guess what I was meant with, like, it's not associated with violence. It's not perfect. No, it's definitely not perfect, but it's, from my perspective, it's substantially better than what we would encounter
I
in the
mean,
United
when
States.
we were living in our town in Pennsylvania, and they would have rallies in our town, and we were driving to the what was it, the lake, and these guys in masks would scream to Mark, "You are anti-white!" Like it was
Yeah.
so obnoxious.
Or even our neighbor right down the
Oh
street.
my gosh,
Every time I would walk Charlie or ride on the bike with Charlie,
she'd say that he's
our
going
dog,
to hell.
yeah, she every day hate filled comments to me.
And then even
Just
our neighbor,
yeah,
he is horrible,
yeah,
horrible racist. So, in comparison to that, because you're still having to deal with stupidity, but not on the same level.
yeah,
So, I mean, our teenage son gets to walk out with his friends at night because all the kids hang out after 10 p.m., which took me a minute to get used to, but that would have never happened in the US.
yeah,
And he gets to hang out with friends and go walk around, and he feels safe, and we feel safe
yeah,
in being able to do that. So that comes to like the raising kids in Portugal part. And well, I mean, one of the reasons why we moved is for our kids to have a better quality of life where I wasn't having panic every time he left the house. Probably a few weeks before we moved, there was a drive by in the park that our kids were at. Like they literally were leaving the park as there was a drive by. And we didn't even live in a super dangerous town.
yeah,
So it was like that. And then there was what on Facebook there was a notification of them looking for this black kid with dreads that wore like all black, whatever. I don't know what it was. It was something stupid. He was like 19 years old, but my kid was 14 or 13 at the time. And I was like, oh heck no. Where is he? I'm picking him up right now, making sure he's home because in the US it's they don't care. And I mean we're seeing that with the whole looking for illegals or whatever. Like they don't care what you look like. As long as you look similar to what they're looking for, they're gonna snatch you and they're gonna hold you against your will and whatever else.
yeah,
So and our 10-year-old really didn't care. Like she was just like, oh yeah, go wherever you guys want to go. But Kai, he was not happy. He had this huge friends group. He was always hanging out with his friends, and he just did not understand why we were moving. And for the first, I would say, month and a half, he was just depressed. We were still trying to get our furniture, and we didn't really have a TV yet. It was taking a while. That's
couldn't
another,
do his gaming.
yeah, he couldn't do his gaming, and teenage boys and their gaming. It was like, oh my gosh. But then once he had his birthday party in October, we invited some friends from school, and we ended up finally getting our TV delivered, which that whole thing, deliveries and Amazon, don't expect the same level of service.
Takes a little bit longer.
Takes a little bit longer, and yeah, sometimes they'll say that things are delivered when they actually aren't delivered. But anyway, after that, he has been fine, and he's been great at school. The teachers love him. He's learning the language. He's got a little accent now, and he talks to Mark all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and the kids really appreciate why we moved. More so Kai, he's a little bit older, but they they understand why we moved. The gun violence, the stuff that's going on with ICE right now, just everything.
Yeah.
They appreciate the new lifestyle, getting to walk around town like Nikki said until 1 o'clock in the morning, and we have I have zero worries. Um, Nikki probably
I
has
have
a
more
little bit
worries
of worry,
just
probably.
because I'm a mom and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh, did he fall into the river? Like
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
stuff.
But not that you're going to get shot
Right.
anyway.
Yeah. And them integrating into the schools, I think it was pretty seamless, even though they're older and they are going to international school right now. But yeah, I think they integrated very well. They have their friend groups, and Sophie's starting her own little business, her little slime business where she's selling her little goods. So I think they're making their way.
Yeah,
They're very resilient. Kids are very resilient. Like I know a lot of parents, you're like, oh, I could never uproot my kids and have them. They would hate me, and it's like, no, they really wouldn't. I feel like as long as you communicate with them and you keep them in the loop and you're talking to them about things, like they're not gonna always have a say in where they go. But our kids, they're thriving here. I feel like
yeah,
very much so. Kai's taking judo. I don't know. I just feel like yeah, they're very well adjusted
yeah,
and understand the world more being in a different country and being able to explore Spain, get to go to Spain. And we went to Morocco. Like they're just getting experiences they would have never really had living in the States. It's just so much easier to travel to other
yeah,
countries from here. So the healthcare experience, we both have some chronic health challenges. So that's something that we've experienced being here. We have a little doctor's office not far from our house. So that's kind of where we've started going. Navigating healthcare has been definitely more challenging for me, I would say. Maybe, I don't know because
yeah. I mean, I haven't been able to get into a neurological doctor for a little bit. I saw one over here, but my condition is a little more
advanced.
complicated
Yeah.
and an advanced thing, typical. So I'm still waiting on that. And we have to drive to Lisbon, which is 3 hours away
Yeah, for my
for her
appointment.
appointment.
And I ended up really needing to utilize a paid service of nurses to kind of navigate the health system. I mean, I'm sure we could have eventually did it on my own, but and I think that's the route Mark's going. So we're kind of seeing like the
Comparison
cost,
and contrast.
yeah, cost benefit analysis or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, for me so far, it's already proven worth its weight in gold. Just being able to kind of get that appointment really quickly with the public system and navigating that, not really being super fluent in Portuguese yet, but learning or taking classes. So that was very interesting. And just the I was talking to the nurse and realizing that my insurance that we have here wouldn't cover the visit. And I was like freaking out, thinking, oh my gosh, like, what is this bill going to be? And she was like, don't worry. Like, at the most, it might be like €500 for a whole doctor's visit with blood work and tests and stuff. While like in the US, it probably would have been like $5,000. So in that aspect, it's definitely more reasonable. The areas where it kind of gets murky is when you have like more complicated health issues, figuring out where's the right place to go, who's the right doctor to see, is this medication covered, and not have it. Like the US insurance is like all my stuff was covered 100%. Like I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. And until we get our residency cards and get on the public system, like I'm paying a lot more for my meds than I would have in the US. So that's something to consider too if you have the more complicated health challenges is, and you're going to be paying more out of pocket until you're like a resident here or like a citizen and
Mm.
kind of going through that.
Yeah. One thing I'll add to that is that first of all, you gotta, if you are considering moving here, you gotta move here with your eyes open. Know that it's not going to be easy. It's not going. You're learning a whole new thing here, and healthcare navigation is not easy. If you were a foreigner moving to the United States, trying to figure out the United States, imagine their same level of confusion and all that. And the other thing is that I'm on disability currently, and Nikki has her own business, so we don't have a company provided healthcare, and still very reasonable. Just getting insurance on your own, it's not anywhere near the costs that we would have incurred in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, for the family of four, I think we're paying what,
Couple hundred bucks, right?
400?
400
Yeah.
compared to
I think Cobra when I got laid off from my
over
job,
$1,000.
Cobra was like $1,300 a month or something crazy. It was insane. So the wait times, I feel like the wait times haven't been that bad, like with getting appointments and stuff. But where I think the biggest wait time I had was probably like the public pharmacy. I
Oh
spent
yeah,
like that hour, and then I found out that the prescription I had wasn't valid there.
yeah.
So that was kind of a pain.
But it's probably also learning little tricks too. Like,
Yeah.
all right, don't go in the middle, like 11 o'clock or lunch hour or whatever. Or what,
Yeah.
like
And that takes
find the
time.
time that
Yeah.
where you're gonna have less of a wait. It's like
Yeah.
all the little tricks that you find anywhere with
Within
going to our
time.
local. Yes, if you go
Oh
at the wrong time in the
my
United States, you gotta wait
God.
20
CVS.
people deep or whatever. And
Even though I spent like an hour and change at the public pharmacy, I got there and she was very polite and she was very nice. And we were trying to navigate the language barrier a little bit. And then I put my nurse on the phone and kind of figured things out. But yeah, I mean,
the common thread on some of this stuff is that you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer at times for things.
yeah.
Amazon, waiting in line for health, whatever.
Yeah,
It's a
medical
slower
services.
lifestyle here.
And slower means slower in every aspect. We haven't had a chance to do any like remodeling, anything like that, but even that, like everything's a lot slower. So you have to really build your patience. And if you're coming here thinking that you're going to be a little princess, you're in for a rude awakening for sure. So next section says, "What's been hard?" Is it? I don't know. Like I definitely in the beginning, I missed my friends, and especially when it came to like Thanksgiving and Christmas, that was kind of hard for me. So we have our little like friendsgivings and like Christmas outings and get-togethers and stuff. And my one friend, good friend, is having a birthday party this weekend, and I'm not going to get to go to. So those things are hard for sure. And Mark missed his, was it your best friend's daughter's wedding?
Yeah, couldn't leave the country because of the residency requirements.
Yeah. So that's definitely been a challenge. And then my daughter that lives in San Diego, like, will she be able to come here in the summer? Because, like, is it financially feasible to do that? So that's definitely a hard thing. And then the language barrier. There's definitely people who've been here for a while that know very little Portuguese and they get by. But we really want to, like, assimilate into the culture. Like, we want to know the language and be able to communicate with people in their language because we're in their country, and we think that's only the right thing to do. And we've really, especially Mark, well, me too, I guess, we've really tried to create relationships with the Portuguese here.
Yeah.
Like, we have some friends that and acquaintances that we met that are Portuguese, and we go to a Portuguese gym and they kind of teach us some words and phrases. And then at the cafe, we kind of practice our Portuguese and we're taking Portuguese classes. And so the more that we're doing that, we're noticing that as we're walking around town, we're picking up more words. When we hear people having conversations, we're like, oh,
And we're taking Portuguese classes.
yeah.
So that's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's been super beneficial, I would say, too.
The daily interactions are just so important. And on the whole, I know we talked about the racism thing, people being jerky at times, but it's a small percentage in my mind, and it's also balanced by people that are just incredibly friendly, like the
Oh yeah.
elderly shop lady that we went to in Faro, and she was giving Nikki a big old hug and just so outgoing and friendly and welcoming, and
And she
so like,
spoke Portuguese too. So
yeah,
she was
she's
talking to us in Portuguese, and we were like understanding some words and
some,
talking to her back. And that was a few
yeah,
months ago. We'd probably be
yeah,
even better now.
yeah. And the cafe, the people at the cafes that when we first went there, they were a little bit standoffish, a little bit because we're not
You're break
speaking their language,
and
and
you're
they're
breaking into an already established community
yeah,
too.
yeah. But I take Charlie on bike rides. We wave to each other and yell, "Bom dia," good morning or good day. So it's a culture here is just very embracing in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like even when we were walking Charlie, and Lee came out of her house with her little dog, and
Yeah,
we are having a whole conversation with her. She was speaking mostly Portuguese, and it's just nice. It feels really good. I feel like
they love their dogs here.
they
Their cows.
love their cows
Charlie
here.
got a little on her foot yesterday when we went for a
Oh
walk.
yeah,
She
and
let out a whimper,
all the
and
the the, gra-
all
the
through,
grannies, they
yeah,
were like,
talking about you, Charlie.
so yeah, it's definitely a great culture to be a part of. And you do have to understand not only like the history of like colonialism, but also my yoga teacher said that 50 years ago they were in a dictatorship. So you have all of that, like the nationalism of the dictatorship and closed borders and not wanting other people to come in to the country, stuff like that. You mean that? You know, so a lot of the older people may still have that mindset. So
I chuckle when you describe that. For me, the first
the
thing I thought of
U.S.
was American
Yeah.
now dictatorship and not wanting people in and
Yeah.
stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
not to get off political.
But yeah, so I think when you decide to move somewhere, you really do have to do your research, not only like the influencers telling you like all the great things about a country, but you also have to research the history of the culture, of how they live their lives and what things were like 50 or 100,000 years ago, because that shapes who these people are. Like it's a generational thing.
And research not just the good things, but also some of the problems that you
Yes,
might
you
experience.
have to have a balanced perspective of where you're going, because if you don't, you're gonna be so shocked and so sad that you sold everything and moved to a place and you weren't equipped
And
to handle things.
I think we did that. I mean, you did most of the
Oh
research
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything, but I mean, we did research for years, at least
Yeah.
3 or 4 years, right before we pulled the trigger.
Yeah, yeah, we did. And even with that, I still end up having times of feeling really overwhelmed and sad. And it's if you're not the type of person that likes to be stretched beyond your comfort zone, this will be very hard for you, because I feel like I'm the type of person that stretches myself beyond my comfort zone a lot, like with learning to swim and driving on the highway, and I still find it very hard sometimes navigating. And it's every day it's you're not running on autopilot at all. You have to be completely engaged, completely on, and it can be exhausting at times. So know that. Sure. When we do it again is the question. So, knowing what you know now, the past 6 months that we've been here, and that's just like a drop in the bucket, because I'm appointment coming up in May, and then I have to get our NIST cards and all other different
The
types of
things
all the different things that need to happen, and driver's license and getting cars and insurance for the cars and blah 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 blah. So we'll drop in the bucket. Would you do this again?
No, absolutely. It's just, I love the lifestyle. I love the weather. It's February right now. We're sitting outside. I don't know, it's close to 60 degrees.
It's a little
Um,
cloudy,
yeah, a
but
little cloudy today, but we are coming out of the rainy season.
and we went to the beach like 3 times last week.
Yeah. And I mean, the weather's a huge part of it. The we used to live in where it snowed a lot, where it was cold a lot, and you just huddle up in your room and don't want to go anywhere in the dark. It's depressing.
Yeah.
But here, I'm still out walking every single day, and cold here. It's all relative. Cold here is 45 degrees and as a low. And you don't see the 30s, the 20s, the 10s.
Negatives
Yeah,
here.
you don't see that stuff. So that's a huge part of it. The food, the culture, the people, the different pace, the lack of stress, the lack of gun violence. There's just so many things that I just super happy. Just the stress just melts away. Like I've had to fly back a few times, at least
Once.
once or just want to get our visas, and when I flew back that time, and other times when we come back from vacation, he just I just felt like as soon as we landed there, the stress, people giving you the middle finger, driving aggressively, don't that sort of stuff, and just knowing that politically half the country hates the other half, and it's just
Yeah.
you know
It's toxic
it creates a very tense
energy.
environment.
Yeah, for
So yeah,
sure.
the question, yes, 100%. We love moving. I love our decision that we moved here.
Yeah, I would say too, for sure. Like when we were first coming here for our honeymoon and we were traveling around different areas thinking, oh yeah, is this could this be a place that we would want to live? And when I came down here, immediately fell in love with Tavira because it's just very charming and it feels Portuguese. It doesn't feel like you're in Florida, like a lot of the towns on the west side, like Villamora and Albufeira and all
Yeah,
those other British colonies.
huge on recycling around this area. So if you're environmentally conscious, it's kind of cool.
And they're very clean. The streets are
Oh
always
God,
clean. They
every single day, I become friendly with the guy that he rides up and down on his little scooter thing and just patrols the area, keeping it clean. People have a respect for
their neighborhood
their neighborhood. You went to Fundal, which is up north, and where we stayed, it was kind of like in this little back alley kind of thing. Some of the houses surrounding it needed a
TLC
little TLC, and there still was not any
litter.
garbage, anything. Just people love their country and respect the environment. And
And I think that's why they're so like looking at you when you come into their realm, right? Because it's like I honor my space. I honor my my property. And are you going to honor my space and honor my property as well?
thought of it that way. That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people come here and they just use it as like a party location and they trash it and they think they can just do whatever they want and get away with it. And then it gives people kind of a bad image of people who want to come here and like really live here and really want to be a part of the community and the culture. And that's why we came here. It wasn't for we didn't come here just thinking, oh, we're gonna just be in our own little American bubble and just be an American living in a different country and expecting them to accommodate our Americanness. Like we really want to be part of the positive things of the Portuguese culture and taking pride in their culture and their community and
Yeah,
learning the language. So yeah, I would definitely do that again, do this again. Like there's definitely no regrets at all, even with things being stressful at times and figuring out how to navigate things. We have so much support here. So much support here. Like we literally were here maybe a month and got tickets to go to Spain to a Radiohead concert. And we had someone to watch the dog. We had someone to watch our kids. We had someone who gave us their car to drive. Like, that's insane.
yeah. And that
That's
was like
insane to me.
less than 24 hours after we finally got the
24 hours
tickets. We
notice.
had to make all those plans, and it all came together.
Mark's got his little guitar band. He's making friends. He's hanging out. He's got play dates. And it's like when you're in the States, everyone's so overscheduled and so busy. And it's like always, "Hey, let's get together." And then a year goes by, and then you've seen them again, and it's like, "Oh, we should get together." And then nothing happens. And I feel like here, everyone's pretty much on the same page. Like, we want to build community, we want to hang out, we want to do things together. Then I would say you, like, you really didn't have a lot of people to hang out with at all.
No, my friends were more, there was a little bit of a distance between us, physical distance. So it was more challenging. But even some of the
Social
local friends I had, I just kind of get it and fall into your routine. And it's just easier to
not doing it.
shelter inside. And particularly, yeah, when the weather is booty.
Oh, yeah. So for sure, like, I feel like our lives have definitely improved for the better. And I would definitely do it again.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about our move or any of the things that we spoke about or anything that we didn't speak about, just comment below and we would love to do another video talking about any of those topics that are interesting to you. And and definitely subscribe to follow us on our Portugal blended family life journey.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace.